What's up, guys? Today we are going to talk about boat options. And what I mean by that is you may be at a crossroad. You may be at a point in time with your current boat where you have a decision to make if you want to keep your current boat and run it until you have like a major malfunction, something with your motor blows up or something, you got to repower your boat. Do you want to buy a brand new boat? Do you want to buy a used boat, something that's just new to you? Or do you want to keep your current hull and repower it? So these are kind of some questions I had to ask myself here recently as I went ahead and repowered my current boat. And I'll kind of go through the process of how I made that decision and the numbers, the financial side of it a little bit, and maybe give you a little bit of insight or help you make your decision if you're kind of coming across the same thing. Before we get too far into it though, our winter series is coming up at a Kaufman Beach here at Lake the Ozarks. So that is going to be Saturday, December 16th from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We've had some people sign up already, or pre-register, I should say, on our website, MidwestOutdoorExperience.com. That saves your boat number. But you can also come out, sign up at the ramp, pay at the ramp. It's going to be a good time right now. Fingers crossed. The weather is looking good. Hopefully it stays that way, and it should be a good time. We're expecting, a pretty decent turnout, I think. So come on out and fish with us. It'll be a fun time. It's all in all, it's a good event, and it's the first of a series. So if you want to come fish all 4 of them, you can, and try and win the grand prize. And the tournament and the videos are all brought to you by Hillman Associates Insurance and Wholesale Batteries. Check out Tom and his team for any insurance need, and check out Wholesale Batteries for all your battery needs. They got a location in Kansas City and in St. Louis. So definitely check those guys out, give them some support since they are helping us. Now let's talk about the boats. Let's talk about the financial side of all this and kind of where I was coming from. So I'm going to use my current boat, my current setup, everything I had kind of as a guide here. If you want to, input your own brand, whatever, motors, hulls, to help you make your own decision there, but we'll use mine just to keep everything a nice constant here. But I have a 2014 Phoenix hull, and I had a matching Mercury 250 Pro XS 2-stroke on there, and I went ahead and I repowered it with a 2024 250 Pro XS, the V8, the 4-stroke. So what brought all this about was basically my motor was getting a little bit on the high side of hours. It's getting to the point where you kind of go over like a hump, and it gets harder to sell, or the resale just drops off very quickly because people see the high hours on there, and then they're just like, that's not going to be a good motor. They don't want it. They don't want the boat. They don't want anything associated with it, and it just becomes harder to sell. Now, is that necessarily true? No, but you're buying something used. You don't know how things are taken care of. So it is something that you're going to factor in when you're buying a new boat. So I had a decision to make, and I had a few options. I laid all of them out here. And we'll start with option A, which was I could have bought a brand new boat. So I have a Phoenix 721, and the first thing I wanted to do is look at a 2023 or 2024 Phoenix 721 and look at the options. Look at the whole, what's changed, what do I gain on an actual boat perspective versus what I currently have. And you're probably going to laugh at this because Phoenix really... This 721 was one of their first models that they came out with. It may have been the first one they came out with. And it's been just a good boat for them. They have hardly changed anything over the years. So if I were to buy a 2024, I would gain the following things. 2 cup holders next to the center console. A padded front deck, which would be nice. Recessed bow lights, which would also be nice. Although I keep my little bow lights in year round and it's not in my way. I'd obviously get a new motor, so that would be a plus, with 5 years of warranty on it. And I would get a new trailer, and I would get a new hull. So I would actually have a new, to me, hull. The boat would be brand new. I could totally set it up how I want, get some things rigged at the factory, and it would all be brand new. But as you can see, I don't really gain too much on the actual hull. I do get a new motor, but I don't really gain much else other than I can say it's brand new, and doesn't really do it for me, and it's going to depreciate rather quickly. For my cost comparison, I would have traded my boat, we'll just say my boat was worth $40,000 as it was, plus another 38-ish, maybe up to 41,000 to get the electronics to match from what I have to the new boats. Because the newer boats, the 721s, they come in right around mid to low 70s before you have taxes and all that stuff. and that's with a pretty low electronics package. If you want to bump that up to what I have, which was two 12-inch graphs and a 9 and live scope and all that jazz, that adds up very, very quickly. So as you can see, I'm basically doubling my cost, and I'm not really gaining that much. So next thing I looked at was used boats, and I'm going to gain the same features pretty much because I wanted it to have at least a 4-stroke on it. So that was basically limiting me to 2019 and up. But with those 2019 boats, a lot of times you're getting a lot higher hours unless you can find somebody that had it sitting in the garage. The downfall of that, though, is you're losing time on your warranty. You know, you only have so much warranty left. You have the option to extend it up to 8 years, but you have to pay for that, and you've already lost the first half of that. So there's quite a few boats out there actually for sale, but they all had one thing in common, and that was pretty much they were around 300 hours, usually a little bit more than 300 hours, and the warranty was running out in like 2024, or some cases it was running out in 23, but for the most part 24, maybe a few staggered on into 25, but you did have the option to extend some of those out for another 3 years basically. So that was a fairly decent option, but what I didn't like was the higher hours. Now it was possible to find some that were, you know, around 100 hours, but for the most part they were all around that 300-ish range. That's when people are basically kind of dumping that boat to try and stay in warranty, and they're trying to sell it, you know, with about a year left on there. That's typically how it goes. So all in all, you know, the cost of that would have been my boat plus anywhere from 20,000 up to just say around 32 to 35,000. So that's a really big range, but it varies, you know, based on your hours. You have electronics and stuff. I will say that if you're going to buy a used boat, you can really get good electronic packages and save a lot of money on that. You can get the lithium batteries, you can get 12-inch graphs and all that stuff, live scope and all that, and you're going to save probably close to 50% on that type of stuff compared to buying it outright or buying it new. That's just the way, you know, accessories and stuff are. You're never going to get your full amount back on any accessory. You're always getting around 50%, maybe a little bit higher on certain stuff. So that was an option, but if you got down to the lower hours, it wasn't that much more money to just go ahead and get a brand new boat. But if you start to separate the electronics there a little bit, then it could add up to, you know, close to another 10,000 or so to get that. So that's a pretty big difference. So then I researched what a repower would look like on my boat. I shopped around a little bit, called different dealerships kind of all across the country just to gauge, figure out the inventory and the price of stuff. And I'm just going to compare this to a Mercury 250 Pro XS because that's what I wanted. My current boat was already rigged up for a Mercury, and it was just going to be the easiest route for me. The first thing I had to ask myself is, am I happy with my boat? You know, is it in good shape, structure-wise, gel coat, all that, you know, carpet, everything's in good shape. And, you know, does it fulfill everything that I need in a bass boat? Does it handle the water well? Does it have good storage? Does it accommodate other people? Does it do everything that I need it to do? And the answer to that was yes. Now, if the answer to that for you is no, then don't even consider this option. You need to sell the boat as is, whatever, and move on to either a new boat or a used boat. Since that worked for me, I had to look at what I had to gain with this, which is, you know, I have a boat that is set up exactly how I like it. So everything is kosher. I don't have to do any adjustments. I don't have to mess around with a used boat. You know, if somebody had something, I wanted it different, and it's not a new boat either where I have to totally set it up from scratch, although that can be nice, you know, getting to do every little detail yourself. But I had that, and then I also am going to get a new motor. You know, 0 hours. I'm the one breaking it in. I know exactly how it's been treated from day one, and I'm getting 5 years of warranty off the bat, and I have the option to extend it to 8. So my cost for that was going to be my old motor plus $16,000. My current boat, everything was paid for, so it's not like I'm transferring loans around or anything like that. So it's literally just, I'm taking my boat, I'm giving the dealer my motor, and then they're putting a new motor on, and I'm giving them $16,000. So essentially I'm getting the upgrades, you know, the most important aspect of a brand new boat to me, which is the motor, you know, for $16,000. So for me, looking at all the options, I think that was the best choice for me, is just to put a new motor in my current boat, because like I said, I didn't have really much to gain upgrading to a new hull. My final option was just keep the current motor I have, run it till something happens, and go from there. Fix it as I go. You know, if it's a total failure, then rebuild it and move on from there. But for me, that was kind of like a gamble almost a little bit. Not in the sense that anything was really wrong with my motor. Like I said, I was just getting up there in hours a little bit, where the resale was going to be harder. But it was more or less like, okay, if something happens to this motor, just say I blow it up, or I got to get a cylinder redone, or I put a hole in the block or something crazy, and it needs a whole new power head. Okay, I'm looking at probably $10,000 to get another 2-stroke power head on there, or I'm paying the cost difference of the entire thing, basically, you know, parting out an old motor and then paying the entire cost of a 4-stroke. So to me, it was like, okay, if the dealer's going to give me, you know, $8,000 for this motor to offset the cost of a new one, well then, you know, that's money ahead to me. And I also have the peace of mind of the warranty of the brand new motor, and not having any downtime either. Because the other thing is, you know, something happens during fishing season. Now it's easier to get motors a little bit, but you know, there's a time when you couldn't get a motor. You were a year out, or you're scrambling trying to just find a loose motor. And I did not want that to happen. I did not want to lose out on time. And for me, just having the peace of mind of the new motor and the warranty and everything, that's worth that cost to me, versus just running what I had until something happened to it. And, you know, who knows? It could have been another 100 hours and it blew up. It could have went another 600-700 hours until it blew up. Just, you don't know. That's just kind of the gamble you take with an outboard. And like they say, it's not, is it going to blow up? It's, when's it going to blow up? It's just the nature of them, you know, running at a higher RPM and stuff. So that's just kind of how I looked at that. Not saying I couldn't ran it for another, you know, season or 2 seasons or something, but I just knew that the resale was going to go down in the regards of the higher hours, and also just the fact that it was the 2-stroke motor, and more 4-strokes are going to be coming on the market, especially that the loose motors are getting, you know, more available, and they're going to be more popular. And I think more people are going to be repowering their boat, and that's essentially going to flood that 2-stroke market even more and make those motors, you know, less valuable as time goes on. So now at the time of this video, the boat market is even changing, you know, I would say very quickly, week by week almost. Not that long ago, it was tough to get just a loose motor. All the boat manufacturers and stuff had basically put their orders in, and they kind of got all the motors, is how I understood it first. And then the loose ones kind of put on the back burner and started to get put in production line. But, you know, all of a sudden it seemed like a bunch of motors just showed up. You could call around and find somebody that had a loose motor pretty easy, and get it set up to get on your boat. Then obviously we have high interest rates. If people are borrowing money, you know, you'd be a perfect credit, you're looking at close to a 10% interest rate, might even be higher right now. You know, that's a lot of money to be owing on a boat, to be owing on something, unless you are exclusively using it, you know, to make money and have it on a business. And my stuff is even on a business, and I could not justify putting that amount of money down or borrowing any sum of money like that towards a new boat when I wasn't going to gain anything substantial. And obviously the financial side of all this is very personal. Everybody's going to be different of what they can afford, of what they can pay, you know, how they're going to pay for it, whether you're paying cash for the entire thing or you're going to break it up into some smaller sums, finance part of it. However you want to do it, that's fine. I think a very important thing to remind yourself is, you know, the boat does not catch you fish. Catch a lot of the fish that I catch probably in a 12-foot John boat with a trolling motor, if I could just get to the fish. You know, that's part of the problem, especially here at Lake the Ozarks, is you need a bigger boat, especially in the busier season, to stay somewhat comfortable out on this lake, because it gets just downright rough. And there definitely are some advantages and stuff to the newer boats compared to like the very early 2000s or the late 90s and stuff like that. They've had some advancements in the holes, and they ride better, and their storage is better, drier, stuff like that. But, you know, if you really look at certain brands and you compare from, you know, just say the 2010s to the 2020s, you're not going to find a whole lot of difference on most of them. The biggest thing that you're going to see is the changes in electronics. So what I mean by that is they've redesigned consoles, they've redesigned the front area, the bow area, to basically hold more electronics, more graphs, and do it a little bit better and a little bit more robust. Just better mounting systems would be the word to say it. So that really just helps solidify my choice, and I think it was a great choice, and I'm going to be happy with it for years to come. You know, I'm going to have 8 years of warranty on this motor, so it's 8 years of not having to really worry about anything on that, on the financial side, and just go fish. Maybe just some food for thought. You know, if you don't like your current boat, then get out there and start looking. I think there's going to be some more deals to be had, and you might even be able to get some pretty sweet deals coming up here on some brand new boats if you're going to be in the market for that. I think just with the high interest rates and the economy kind of squeezing down a little bit here, that is going to get some of these dealers kind of pushing a little bit to try and get some sales, get some of these products and stuff moving off their lot. You just have to remember, the boat does not catch you fish. So if you get new boat fever and you're looming in the back of your mind that it's not a good financial decision, then you're probably correct. And unless you really have the cash or you can really afford it, then I would suggest looking at your alternative means there. So hopefully it helps you if you're in the same predicament and stuff. And we hope to see you guys out at our winter series, and we'll have some more videos out for you soon. Thanks for watching.